It's really only been a week and I've already forgot the order of pressing buttons.
It happens.
Outrageous.
Also, my sub apparently ran out because I'm seeing an ad break right now.
Uh-oh.
I know.
Guilt each other into...
Yeah, I think mine just renewed. I got an email.
Oh, I don't have auto. Okay. This is... Anyway.
Auto renew, huh? Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I can only ever think of that Spider-Man pointing meme whenever we subscribe to our own channels.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have to get the sweet proud dad emote. That's what I need.
Oh yes.
All across Twitch.
Where's my Prime sub? Why is it telling me about tokens?
So mobile has this weird thing, so I would do it from desktop.
Okay. Thank you for the tech support. Like
that's where we're all at today.
And now that I think we've gotten our minor tech issues under control, what's going on, everybody?
Hey.
Welcome.
Hello.
ProfsPlay, a channel where we, for academics, get together every week and try to take our nerdiness to ever higher levels, usually through video games. Although this summer, we are playing D&D together for the first time. Our homebrew campaign is called Age of Storms and takes place in a far off mystical land called Wujan. In the time our campaign takes place, magic is fading in strength and the threat of foreign encroachment looms large. While our heroes three, we're three again, or well, we're four again. While our heroes three have been traveling together in pursuit of different personal goals, closure after a loss, a commitment to protect traditions, or a desire to carve out a holy individual destiny, they find themselves swept up into larger, deeper, and older conflicts than they ever imagined. My name is Prof A from the channel Prof A Plays. I'll be GMing the game today. And to kick off, I'm just going to pass the mic around to each of our players to briefly introduce themselves, their characters, and then answer the little kickoff question I sent everybody before stream. Was what is your character's biggest flaw? So flaw is a big part, right, of the character creation. So a little something for folks to think about.
Right now I'm thinking about it.
We could describe Loon's fatal flaws.
Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe it should be like we talk about each other's flaws. Liren's not so tender medical care. I think we all bear scars.
You were ready
of that
for that.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
I know. Geez, that's something else you want to say?
It's the rice wine talking. I swear.
Oh yeah, don't hold back.
Wait till you need healing, and then we're going to see what happens.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
not enough tender care for you anymore.
It's awesome.
So speaking of which, why don't we start then with Sweaterwolf / Liren. Tell us about yourself, your character, and your flaw.
So I am Sweaterwolf. I will be playing Liren. So Liren is a dragonborn cleric. He is so far very good at like the magical aspects of healing and very not good at like the medicinal aspects of healing that involve, examining patients and trying to like, look at their wounds, because he does end up clawing people open, only on a few occasions. He is from a village of healers, but as the magic in this world is fading, the healing magic is not what it once was, and it also does not have sort of the prestige it once did as well. In terms of his biggest flaw, I think his biggest flaw is that he is sheltered, which I wasn't sure whether I wanted to bring that, because I don't know if that's quite like a character flaw so much as just something but versus any other flaws I could think of, like it just really, I think, explains his decisions a lot, because I'm like, why does he keep thinking a beard is going to hide his like giant frame, right? And I think his biggest issue that he deals with is he really never left the village, right? He lived in the village his whole life. He knew that there were outsiders. They did come to the village once and try and kind of take it over. But other than that, he knows there's dangers in the world, but he doesn't totally understand his place in the world. He doesn't understand how obvious he is. He doesn't understand, I think he was really genuinely surprised. There's a bounty out on him. And I think he was really like, what? Like, that's not me. Like, there must be some mistake here. So I think he really just, it's maybe being sheltered, and maybe the flawed part of that is like assuming he knows everything, which is maybe just the flaw of like, being young and leaving your kind of hometown for the first time, right? That everyone kind of goes through. So yeah, I think that's the biggest flaw that he has. And I will pass it on. Hey, Fisticuff, what is up? Welcome. I will pass it on to Wizard.
All right. I'm Prof. Lynette from Wizard PhD, and I play Tamari, whose fatal flaw, I keep saying fatal, like, I don't know. That's just like, it's going to kill us one day.
I will tell you if it is fatal.
Okay. I don't think that Tamari necessarily thinks that she is flawed in this way, but she definitely holds grudges. Whether it's like conscious or not. And so I think that Tamari has a very strong sense. I mentioned one of the other times of like, family or like the people she's with, she's very protective of. And so if you do something that wrongs any of them, then she's going to hold it. And I think that why I don't think that she's aware of it is that she's just like in her head a lot, so she can explain it for different reasons. Like, I don't think that she thinks she's flawed, but that's like the thing that she holds on to, is that she holds grudges against people and resentment for anyone who's ever wronged her or people aren't close to her. So I think that may have been part of the reason for why she did what she did at the end of last episode. With the person trying to get away, and she was just like, all right, bye, you're out. I'm gonna shoot you right in the middle of the show, so you can't, you're done. But I think she would rationalize it in a different way of like, oh no, that wasn't something that's like flawed about me. So I think that's Mari. I'll pass it up to Lynn.
I think that makes the characters so much more interesting, right? I think when they're not aware of their flaws, because when you are, it's like, you can start working on it and you can start becoming a better person, which is great in real life, but it's not traumatic. So I do love that. Yeah, that's cool.
That's good.
All right, sorry, I interrupted your pass. I jumped in the way of your pass. So let me step aside.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I missed you all last week. I listened to approximately a third of it on the road back to town and watched it later. So thank you for running Loon and keeping Loon alive, in fact. Which was at the outset, I was 50-50 on if he'd actually make it out. So thank you all. Yes, I'm Jay Plays Games. Happy to be back. I'm playing Tenju Loon, who, as Prof A has mentioned, is in the past is sort of a farmer who's dealing with the loss of his son and sort of is on this journey to find out, see if there's a connection still, whether that's supernatural or not, I guess. I guess the flaw that I've had the last couple of minutes to now think of, because apparently I didn't see that prompt. I think Loon can be very mono-focused, sort of mono-minded, really, and sometimes have, kind of blinders on, get blinded to everything else that's kind of happening because he's, so focused on something. I need to find this answer and I need to get this thing done. Partially, that's how he was successful in keeping, his farm running and stuff with just his wife, and eventually when his son became of age and could help and stuff, but by doing it himself, but staying focused on that task, and sometimes ignores kind of all the other things that are happening kind of around him, almost to the point where like ignored the fact that Liren is not a human. He'd never seen a creature like this before, and just sort of didn't even notice in some ways, and didn't notice when the claws were rending the flesh.
Look who holds grudges. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know he does. Yeah, there's flaw number 2. Let's see. I can go through a litany of these, I guess. Does hold grudges? No grudges. But just again, sort of, may not notice what kind of is happening or those things because he gets so sort of focused on one goal or one mission or one task or something.
Nice. Awesome. Very helpful. All of this is very helpful. I'm not sure when it's going to come up, but who knows? It's all good. All right. Well, now that everybody's had a chance to quickly meet our characters, we're gonna jump right on in. Just a super quick caveat that we always do every week for the folks that are hanging out in chat during the game. We really appreciate you all being here for sure. All the support is much appreciated. I guess I'll speak for myself. I'm going to have a really hard time keeping up with chat. And so if I don't thank you out loud, if I don't engage with your comments out loud, doesn't mean I'm ignoring you or I don't love you. It just means I'm really just trying to focus on making sure the game is as engaging as it can be for the players. But other than that, hope you all have a good time with us today. We'll be hanging out for the next hour and a half, hour and change, hour and 45. And we will take a couple of minutes toward the end to just quickly wrap up, catch up with chat, and just, I guess, make a couple of closing announcements before we wrap up for the week. Anybody else got anything else to add before we get the mood right?
I'm ready.
Let's do it then. Let's
do it.
Take a second to get ourselves in the mood. Very reasonable. Here goes.
The world is changing. Magic is fading, and with it, the old ways. Outsiders have come to these lands, wielding weapons of thunder and smoke. They bring knowledge, they say, but at what cost? The strength of our dreams is fading. Even the ghosts of our ancestors are silent. Yet, all is not lost. There are whispers that a new magic is growing. More and more storytellers in the tea houses speak of these wonders. Tales of warriors who soar through the sky like birds. Creatures of living metal, rising from the earth. Some even believe the ways of the ancients are waiting to be reborn. It is into this changing world that our heroes have been thrust. Will they be the ones to preserve the old magic in the new age of machines? Will they seek to restore harmony in the time of growing chaos? Or will they seize the opportunity to gain power untold? This is a new age, an age of storms.
All right. So, when we have a lot of catching up to do. When we last left our heroes, they had been attempting to enlist the services of one called the Tale Teller, who may have the power to help Loon contact his recently deceased son from beyond the grave, find a little bit of closure in their relationship. In order to build a little bit of trust between them, though, our heroes were sent on a journey to go and find the maker, a renowned inventor who had recently gone on the run from the local governor of Ma Gao, city in the north, largely taken over by outside invaders. Lots happened, though, while you were gone, Jay. So, Tamari, Liren, either or both of you want to catch us up on a little bit of what happened last week in the adventure?
Well, we did. Well, first of all, the maker did think that we were there to kill him, which we were not. But we did inadvertently kind of lead lead some Northerners straight to the cave. So we chased them down. Oh, and also Tamari met a cool fox, but
Yeah, the fox
I
was
should probably
was
explain that,
following
yeah.
me. So when in the middle of the night, the next day when I was like, "Oh, did you have weird dreams?" It's because I saw this like metal fox thing, and she had been following me or us, I guess. Me, I don't know. She was really mad at me at first. Everyone was mad at me trying to kill me, and I didn't know what was happening. But yeah, keep going, Lyran.
Oh,
a
and then
lot of people following us. We left a pretty good trail, I guess.
yes. So we fought them off. Meanwhile, Loon was just like chilling in the cave. And we fought them off, and one of them escaped, but we wanted to make sure that nobody found out the location of the cave. So we went and interrogated him and learned a little bit of info from him. And then Lyran had like a, what do we do with this guy now moment? And Tamari just straight up shot him in the head. So don't get on Tamari's bad side. And we returned to the cave to find out that Loon is now just like super into guns and collecting guns, I guess. So that'll be a new thing for us to deal with. And I feel like I'm leaving important details out, but I don't know.
We learned that there's this other person, the Crimson Thorn.
Oh, the Crimson Thorn, yeah.
That we had to be beware of. Also, who we thought was the tale teller, Tamari thinks is pretty sus. But she called back on our little speaking glass phone, and she has a daughter, and so there's more to it. So she basically was like, "You need to come back here so we can speak in person because it's not safe to speak it like over the phone." So that's what she said to us.
Great.
Yeah, I think that about covers it. You did, I think, at the very end of last session, decide you're going to be taking a long rest. So if you haven't done that yet on your D&D Beyond character sheets, you can go ahead and do that. And in the meantime, I would like to ask, how did everybody's character sleep last night? How was that for y'all?
Well, Tamari was a little annoyed that there wasn't room in the maker's hideout to sleep because she basically got poisoned by a trap drawer. And so she thought at the very least you can like let me sleep on this bed, but there was no room. So she kind of went outside, even though we haven't had the best of luck in this cursed forest. She went outside to go, sleep among the trees and be out in nature for the night, really wanting to get out of that cave area. It was fine. I mean, Tamari's used to being out, especially in the forest, so she was fine. It wasn't the most comfy, but she didn't mind being outside of that cave.
I think Lyran slept well, given that he almost died. I think he was like super exhausted from all of that. So I think any secret homesickness that he might feel on some nights was not present last night because he was just like, oh my gosh, like I need to live.
Loon slept great. Shared some very, very old plum wine with the maker and put him right to bed. So feeling good. Pile of rocks in the corner that he slept on felt like feathers.
Nice. All right. So as the dawn breaks, you find yourselves being roused from your sleep by a number of different things. Tamar, you wake with the sun since you are outside. Lyran and Loon, you are inside, but you are awakened by smells wafting through the inside of the maker's hideout. You think for a moment, and you can almost definitely smell rice in the air, grilled mushrooms, and is that dried fish? I think it might be dried fish. Just the slightest hint of dried fish in the air. would you like to do?
I think Lyran's just like cartoon style, gonna just like follow the smell waves and just like hover on those to the source.
By the way, as an out of game statement, can you stop making these so like sensory? Because I'm hungry every time you are describing. We go to the tea house, the aroma of, and it makes me hungry. All right, back to the
It's
game.
like really hard because I could
It's a
do every
food-based campaign.
It is, yeah, it really is.
But I want I like other senses to be in there too. I don't know. That's my flaw as a DM. Over sensory.
Those mushrooms are smelling pretty good. The roasted, sautéed kind of mushrooms are smelling very good. So I'm on my way to find the source of that smell myself. Luna's.
Right. Tamari, none of the smells were coming out of the cave, but you do find.
I don't think that I would smell it, but I think it's time to go back in. Is it morning?
Okay.
Is that what you said? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sun is rising.
All right.
Okay. I love the image of Liren just like cartoon floating into the
he might still not even be awake. It's just like
it is a little cramped, but you walk in and you find yourself a little shocked to find the table covered not just with mushrooms, as you imagine were sort of a large staple of the diet in this underground cave, but also small balls of rice rolled up in banana leaves. Dried fish was indeed accurate. Surprisingly, you also find bowls of berries and mango spread around the table. And in the middle of the room, you see you're greeted by the strange sight of an automaton, clearly fashioned on the body structure of a young Wujan woman, and dressed, if that's the right word, in garments of red and gold. Smaller in stature than the sentinel that attacked you at the hideout entrance, this one seems to be plated with painted porcelain and wears a full-faced and intricately painted theatrical mask. The automaton is holding a tray with small cups in one hand and carrying a steaming pot in the other. And despite its machine-like form, it moves gracefully across the room, almost like a practiced martial artist. Good morning, it speaks, in an even tone, somewhat reminiscent of the voice of the huntress. I trust you slept well. I am called Echo, and you may use the female pronouns if you are speaking about, but not to me. May I ask, kindly, how should I refer to each of you?
Hi, Echo. I'm Tamari.
You may call me Liren.
You can call me hungry.
Greetings to each of you. May I ask how each of you were confirmed in your genders?
You can use she, her pronouns for me.
Mm-hmm. And you can use he, him pronouns for me.
And me as well.
Thank you. Kai Loon, Kai Liren, Che Tamari. She uses the honorifics that refer to each of your genders. May I offer you tea? She pauses for a moment. The maker has just cooked, and June is on the hunt as we speak. Come, eat, please. She gestures toward the table.
Lyrian will sit at the table. But did you say your father?
Yes, there was a high probability you would have questions about this. There is also a comparatively high probability that the maker and the huntress may have struggled in their communication with you. I apologize on their behalf. Seclusion, as you may imagine, does not do well for your kind. The Maker was my creator, she explains, and I may be the reason why he is being pursued.
Oh, because of the governor?
Yes, it is because of my nature, of what I am. Soul forged is the word I use to describe myself. Do you like it?
It's great.
I came up with it myself. The Maker
Aw.
is very proud of me. He does not say it, but his body language indicates a great deal of emotion.
Did you say the huntress's name was June?
Yes, June is her name. She prefers not to be referred by her old name, but it is the name I first knew her as. She pauses.
Oh, so we should call her the huntress, and we should call the maker, or do they want to be called something else?
They will respond to those names. She begins to set out utensils on the table. Are there other questions I can answer for you?
So, are you made entirely of metal? Are you? I don't understand how you're speaking to us.
It is quite complicated and would take several years for me to fully explain the process. However, in short, I am made of many materials. As it turns out, the ancient dragons that created your peoples were very, she pauses for a moment, very precise in the way they developed your biology. My anatomy is modeled after yours and takes many, many inspirations from the functions of biological humans and dragonborn.
Thank you for answering my question. And Lyran just kind of looks like he's processing a lot right now. Just a lot to process.
Perhaps
Were you-
this. Oh, I am sorry for interrupting.
No, it's okay, Echo. Did you know the huntress before? You said that you knew her before, but were you also... I'm also trying to understand how you became in contact with all of them.
I was created by the Maker. I was his most recent and successful experiment in blending a human soul with material technology.
Oh, how long ago was that?
She sits for a moment, and it's clear that she's sort of running calculations in her mind. 4. I am 4 years old.
Oh.
I stopped trying to make sense of it like 3 mouthfuls ago. So Loon just keeps shoveling in.
Yeah, Lyran's gonna eat now.
She watches you eat, and her posture relaxes. If there is other information I have that can aid on your journey, I would be happy to share it. She walks over to a corner and quietly watches the three of you as you just clear the spread on the table.
I think Lyran's going to ask the people at the table, so what do you think we should do now? We found the Maker, but I am not sure he wants us to bother him much.
I mean, Loon, I know you said that these tools were great. I'm just not sure about the potential of another war.
You seem very intrigued by them, Loon, perhaps overly so.
No, I've never seen anything like them. They could make such a difference, even to our people. And he turns back to his plate and sort of really hungry this morning, quite hungry.
Tamari just solemnly glances at Liren.
I suppose we can go back to our friend, the tale teller. Although then Liren kind of lowers his voice and says, "Do you think she would know anything about the tale teller and perhaps their relationship?"
I think we should ask.
It's worth a shot.
Because I would like to know.
And then Liren turns and says, "Echo, this food is excellent. I don't. Are you able to eat as one of your biological functions?"
I can process organic materials, she replies, but they are not necessary for my sustenance. I have many ways of regaining my energy from the 5 natures. But thank you for your offer.
Well, compliments to this food preparation, and we were just wondering, my friends and I, perhaps, if you knew a friend of the makers. She goes by the tale teller, or
Hecate.
Hecate, as the maker. Your father called her the other day. Do you know this woman?
I do not know her personally. When we lived in Ma Gao, I was not allowed to leave the laboratory. But I know the relationship between Hecate and the Maker goes back long before the arrival of the Imperium in Wujian.
Do you know the nature of this relationship?
Other than their travels together, I am afraid I do not.
Thank you, Echo.
Of course. She walks over to the table. Would it make you more comfortable if I ate with you?
It
If there's
sounds
anything left.
sort of, yes. I don't think you want to process what is left on our plates.
Some fish bones.
She sort of looks, she kind of tilts her head to the side. I will not. She steps back into the corner. How else may I be of service? As she finishes her sentence, you see the huntress in her fox form appear in the doorway, dragging a large animal carcass in her mouth. She drops it onto the floor, turns to each of you, but in particular gives her attention to Liren and says, "Do you need this cooked, or can you eat this as it is?"
I think my companions would certainly prefer it to be cooked, yes.
I'll take care of it. She takes a moment, and as she has done before you in the past, shifts her metallic form until once again she is humanoid, and with seemingly superhuman strength, she lifts this large animal carcass as if it's as light as a feather, walks it over to a small side table, and begins to carve up and prepare the meat to be cooked. She works in silence.
I'll turn to Loon. Turns to Echo and sort of asks, when did you say the Maker will be back?
Back? She looks confused. The Maker is here. I will fetch him. And she leaves.
That was good plum. That was good. That's a good plumb line.
Bye, Echo.
I hope he wasn't planning on eating any of this food. I feel badly now. I did not know he would be joining us.
The huntress turns her head, but her body kind of remains focused on his work. So she's sort of glancing at you over her shoulder. He doesn't eat much these days, she says, and turns back to her preparations. At this point, she's already beginning to load steaks onto the grill and light it up.
Yeah, so I say to the others, I don't know. We have to get out of this forest. I feel.
I think I feel like we will quickly be overstaying our welcome. This is a somewhat more awkward breakfast than I anticipated.
As you finish your thought, Echo returns and is now standing in the doorway with the maker. And now the kitchen is really crowded. I mean, this room was designed for like 2 people to eat in, and so now there are 5.
Good morning. Is it morning? I slept very well, and I'm not actually sure.
Yes, thank you for letting us stay here overnight.
Sure. The maker kind of quickly mentions and wheels himself over to the tea cart, begins to sip tea. Thanks, he mutters under his breath, for yesterday. And he wheels over to the huntress, kind of turns around and says, anything else I can answer for you? I know you probably are in a rush to head back to the city.
We all kind of nod at each other, I think.
I think we are ready to hit the road.
Oh, does this glass? Are you keeping this in case we need to contact you?
I'd prefer to keep it. It's my only means of being in touch with the rest of my contacts in the city.
Oh, okay.
He replies back.
But so we can call you if we needed to be like, hey, the maker. It's
If you
us,
can
what's
find the
going on?
glass that's paired with it, you can, he explains.
Okay.
Did you see those? Did you have a chance to look at the prototypes I gave you? He asks.
Yes. How long did it take you to make these?
He looks at Echo, and Echo, again, pauses for a moment and sort of begins to run calculations in her mind. Several months for each of these, Echo mentions. The compass is his proudest work. The maker turns to Echo. I never told you that. Echo turns back to the maker. But your body language suggests you are proud of this creation, especially. He kind of shrugs his shoulders and goes back to drinking his tea. If you really want to see something, go see my apprentice in the city. Go see Mei Lin. That girl, she is the future of this nation.
Oh. How would we find her? Where
She
exactly in
is,
the city?
he responds, she's the daughter of a forge maker, Han Jie. If you ask around for the person who is most known for forging the traditional weapons and armor of Wujian, you'll find his daughter. No one knows she's training under me, and no one, and he kind of, his eyes kind of darken. No one should know that she's training under me, lest she get put in the same danger that we're in.
Gotcha. We know how to be discreet with these things.
Oh,
Go ahead. Good enough.
oh, sorry. You do your thing first.
I was going to sort of like saddle up next to the maker and sort of quietly say, turn and say, hey, I think on our return trip, I'm not sure that people aren't still following us. I'd feel a little bit better if we could maybe take one of those firearms with us. Is there anything that you require?
He turns back to you. Everything that I was able to salvage, I need for my experiments. But again, go see Mei Lin. She may have something for you, he replies. The compass should help you get back to the city a little more quickly and safely than you came out here. But you'll need a shaper's power to activate it. Let me show you. He wheels over and sort of with an open hand stretches it out to whoever of you is holding the compass in your bag.
Actually, that's what I was going to ask real quick
yeah.
is where because I know, sorry, got to do an out of character thing, but I know that Wizard took one of the Tinker's goggles, but I don't remember where the list of items actually is. Like how we...
It's you see our main landing page. It has those items on there.
Oh
So
my gosh.
the
Okay.
goggles, the compass, the amulet, the
And if
arrows.
Okay.
if I
Okay.
fixed it, I tried to fix it, but if you click on the icon in front of each one, you should get a little info button.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I did not know you could do that. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I'm telling you, like, way more time playing with D&D Beyond than I have than like actually writing the narrative.
Okay, well,
Cool.
this is definitely I would be the one with the compass. So cool. All right. Let's continue.
All right.
And so Loon is just gonna sort of wistfully look at the wall of firearms one more time and hang his head.
The maker holds the compass out in front of Loon. It's closed at this point. He sort of very roughly grabs one of Liren's hands and holds one of Liren's clawed fingers out and traces a very intricate pattern on the cover of the compass, on the outside shell of the compass. In a few moments, the compass begins to hum and light up, glow blue with energy, and it opens. The maker explains, this will only open when you trace the proper rune, and it will only open for someone who's able to feed a jolt of shaping energy into it. Still, he kind of leans close into you. You can't let this fall into the wrong hands, or else that's the end of this workshop too. He wheels backwards.
I will guard it carefully. And Liren looks actually pretty like excited about this like cool secret compass thing.
Echo interrupts. This is excitement. I have learned. And she gestures toward Liren.
Thanks, Echo. All right. Well, so it looks like we have a way out.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, we just have a way out. We have we're looking for Mei Lin potentially. If we find the other speaking glass, we can talk to the maker. I think I'm ready. I'm full. I'm really full. Thank you. Thank you again, Echo.
She sort of waves her hand in the air.
All right, Liren's gonna head for the door with a sort of wave back. Thank you for everything.
And one long look
Yeah,
at
I
that
start
wall.
pushing
Look at
Loon.
a wall of,
Yeah, just
that wall of
start-
wonder that you can just sort of see right through the
Yeah, Liren kind of
doorway.
gestures to Mari, like, get him.
Yeah, bye.
Echo walks over as she sort of sees the struggle. Shall I help? She asks.
Oh no,
Please.
he's fine. Come on, Loon.
We might need help actually. If you would not mind also pushing.
I can go.
All right. She watches the three of you as you move toward the edge of the cave. Goodbye, new friends, she says. You begin to make your way out of the hideout toward the entrance of the cave. And as you do, you sense, Tamari, you sense a movement behind you. Instinctively, you turn around, and standing there is the huntress, once again in her box form. Just a moment. I had this open and now I don't. All right. Wait, she says to Tamari. Before you go, I have seen what you can do in battle. But more than this, she says, I have seen what you are willing to do to protect what you value. Still, I believe there's more you can learn if you are to survive the trials ahead. She begins pacing toward the three of you, especially if it is Yang Lijiang. that you seek to counter. Meet me outside the city gates, just at the edge of this forest, under the cover of night, if you wish to learn more. I may not be as strong as I once was, she said, but we can always sharpen our claws, no? She pauses and turns around, begins to walk back toward the maker tent. Thank you again, she says, without turning around, for your help here, young one. It will not be forgotten. And she starts to pace back toward the entrance.
Okay, once she's gone, I turn to the others. I'm like, okay, I don't know. They went from wanting to murder me to like, let's train up. So let's just get out of here. It's fine.
Yes,
Lyran,
I think it is high
can I look
time.
at that compass? I know you're like, I don't want to touch it, but like, I just want to see. That
Yes,
looks so
yes,
cool.
of course, of course. It is very cool. And Lyran's like a little giddy in a way. I don't think you've seen him be giddy before, except maybe when the food is really good.
Tamari's gonna put on her goggles and be like, "This is what I got. You like them?"
You look even cooler, Tamari, which I did not know was possible. I think Lyran's also just like I think that realizing that making claw marks on trees was a bad idea left me with very few navigation options. So I am very happy to have acquired this.
Oh yes. And now you can tell us the way, and
Yes.
I can assist if needed. But I think the map will be helpful. Or the compass would be helpful.
Yeah, so I think Lyran's going to do try and replicate the sort of patterns that he learned to open the compass, and then sort of like hovers his hand over it, and you see a little bit of kind of watery looking magic. If you can imagine such a thing, I guess it's sort of like a glowy, like shifty kind of like wave emerges from his hand and into the compass, and says, "Well, I hope I did this right. I don't really want to have to go back in there."
I'm sure it's right, Lyran.
The compass hums to life, and appearing in its center is a little sort of holographic map of about a mile of the surrounding area. You see there's a small sort of round beacon that's flashing at your current location, and then another that is indicating the direction toward what you are guessing is the city of Ma Gao.
All right, friends, I think we should make haste back to the city before anything else strange happens in this forest.
Oh, Loon, if you find a body that's like somewhat shoved in the bushes, just ignore it. We got everything off of it, so we don't need to search it again.
Shouldn't I ask? I shouldn't ask.
No. We're good. We're good.
It is all fine.
I trust you.
All right. With the compass in hand and with Tamari's forest navigation skills, it takes you about half the time, so a day and a half, to get back to the city. I'm curious, on your journey, Loon, what did you find was the most memorable moment of this day and a half journey back to the city?
So again, it was only one evening, but it was a memorable evening. What I noticed was, for some reason, that the stars were more vivid than I'd ever seen them. Something about being under the fresh air after being underground and for a day and a half. Something about that, just the sky almost opened up in a way that I hadn't seen in a long time. And I remember being very, very impressed by that. It may or may not have been wine inspired.
How do you have so much wine, Loon? You gotta share with us.
I do not know where he keeps it.
I said may not. It could be just just a vivid sky is what I remember.
Got it. Love it. What, Tamari, what did you find was the most challenging thing about your trip back to the city?
The most challenging thing, I think, Tamari She has like a slight sense of paranoia. So every sort of movement, which is just, normal movement, like the wind or, a leaf falling down, she's just kind of a little jumpy, which is not the best, but she's learned to, temper down that anxiety because she doesn't want to set the others off. I mean, we're already a motley crew of accident prone friends here. So she's trying to keep that under control.
Got it. And anything particularly positive stand out in your mind, Leon? What was that? Was there a bright note on your journey on the way back to the city?
Yeah, I think at some point, Tamari like caught something really good for us to enjoy. Some kind of creature that let us not necessarily have to just eat our rations, because Lyran, as soon as they left the door, realized that we did not get the steaks that the huntress was preparing, and was like immediately disappointed, but didn't want to have to go back in there. So he actually was literally thinking about it all day. So he was happy to share a meal with all of his friends. It's about the friendship, not just the food, but mostly the food.
No wonder you fumbled with the amulet. I should ask again. Oh, by the way, those things are done now, right? Yes.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Out of curiosity, what do you arrive in the city under? Is it daytime? Is it nighttime? When do you get there?
I think it's early afternoon. Just
midday.
just lunchtime, midday. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I asked because I was fiddling. Speaking of out of game talk, I was fiddling a little bit with the lighting. And if I did this right, hold on.
Cool.
I think. Whoa, that's not the right button. All right. Yeah.
Nice.
There's a cloud that was a cloud that passed overhead.
Nice.
That's cool.
Nice. Okay. All right. As you approach the city gates, you find yourself stopped by what look to be two guards dressed in the traditional garb of the Northern Imperium. Yes. They stop you on your way in and begin to ask where you've been, announcing that there is a citywide search for a fugitive known as the Maker and any of his accomplices. There's a second guard who turns to you and demands that your belongings be searched. What would you like to do?
So we're at the gate, right? So there's a guard house there, I'm assuming.
Yes. And actually where you are specifically, it's not just a guard house, but sort of this whole area out here, like this is where all the guards train. It's like that's where all of that happens. It's like right out there. So there's a lot of guards around. Two of them have your attention, but you're not alone out here, let's say.
Okay.
Well, one of these days, bribing these northerners will work. Gold in their hand goes a long way.
Is this the day, Loon?
Yes, I think.
But someone with better charisma than Loon, I think. The grumpy old dirty farmer with his -2 charisma modifier.
Do you really have a -2?
Oh my goodness!
I sure do. I sort of, I look over to Tamari, and you remember when we were in the inn perhaps now's the time to try. Oh,
Me.
and I'm also going to ask if Liren has her beard, or his beard handy.
I
His beard.
do, and Liren has it, but it's kind of like it got kind of jacked up because we used it as a tournament. So it might need to be restyled in a different, less popular style to be wearable, which I don't think is something that was prioritized on the journey.
It's a handy tool, but
I think Liren is just like has his hood pulled all the way up and is actually, maybe he's learning because he realizes maybe he didn't sneak through so smoothly at the last sort of guard checkpoint. So he's actually just kind of hanging back and being uncharacteristically quiet.
Tamari is trying to remember the amount of gold that is appropriate that Loon suggested. Because she doesn't understand what the currency means in this area. Right. Or maybe with an assist from the GM.
According to the default, I have 10 gold on me.
I was going to offer 1 gold piece.
Yeah. Because our meal was only a few silver, right? So a gold would be,
that's a
fair
lot,
amount of money. Yeah.
A gold piece. Okay. Who's going to make the offer?
So Tamara is going to step up and say, we went on a nice hike in the forest and are trying to get back to our inn. And then she'll put a gold piece in the, or try to put it in. I don't know if the guard's hand is available to have a gold piece put in it, but she wants to offer.
The hand is out, right? But it's out sort of asking for you to give your best. But there is a hand that's outstretched.
So Tamari wants to do this very casually, just kind of okay, it's fine. And then just place it in the outstretched hand to lay the 1 gold piece right there.
All right. Go ahead and roll that persuasion. Roll that bribery.
Oh dear. Okay. Just now, it's just a +1. So. Oh wait, where are we? that is a 5. We lost a gold piece.
Okay.
One of these days it'll work. I swear.
The first guard, who you just now notice, seems fairly heavyset. Kind of looks down at the gold piece, looks up at you, pockets the gold piece, and says, "You really haven't spent much time in the city, have you? We don't get paid enough to be insulted like this." And he holds out his empty hand again. "The bags. Now," he says, in a harsher tone than he took with you when you first arrived. "And keep your weapons where they are." The second guard, a shorter guard, barks at you.
Is it worth trying a different gate?
I think they're gonna stop us.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's what I was looking at initially on the map.
Because there's the southern gate, down.
A different one.
Sorry.
Can't I ping?
Just for clarity, how many guards are in front of us or around us?
In front of you, there's 2. But all around you, there are sort of a number of guards that are sort of firing arrows here over at the archery range. There are guards that are breaking horses over here. There are guards that are training and sort of doing push-ups and other kinds of calisthenics.
Never mind.
Too many.
Just rather a lot of guards. But from just behind these 2 guards, a voice calls out, "Begging your pardon, gentlemen, but I do not think these travelers have the information you are looking for." Out of the shadows, a tall figure dressed in white robes, adorned in gold, steps forward. He wears a ceremonial mitre, one of those pointy priest hats. I had to look up what it was called, by the way. A pointed hat adorned with a stylized symbol of a golden eye. What the hell did you just... begins the heavy-set guard on your left, whose already large eyes begin to swell with anger. Quickly, the other guard, a pale man whose face is creased with scars, puts a hand on his comrade's chest. Father Damaso, the second guard says, to what do we owe your visit to our humble post? Please, pardon our curtness, but we need to interrogate these travelers, he says, by order of Governor Evans. The priest steps between you and the guards and begins to turn his back toward you. Allow me to repeat myself if I was unclear. These are not the travelers you are looking for. Loon and Tamari, go ahead and roll a wisdom save, please.
What? Sorry,
Wait.
hit the wrong button.
All right, 18.
A 9.
This all sounds normal to you, Tamari, and it sounds normal to you, Lirin. But Loon, at the mention of the word not, his words begin to ring inside your mind over and over and over again, until they are boomingly, deafeningly loud. It is at this point that Tamari and Lirin notice this man's hands are covered in rings, each with a gemstone set in the center. Lirin, you notice one of the rings begins to glow with a dull energy, unseen by Loon and Tamari. You know, the heavy-set guard snarls, I don't think we should be wasting our time with these Wujan dogs. It's like I told you, the short guard replies. We need to be systematic, not obsessive about this search. He begins to step backwards. We don't get paid enough as it is, he says, as he shoves his hands into his pocket. The heavyset guard jerks his head toward the gate behind him. Move along, he barks. The short guard looks to Father Damaso, then back to the three of you, then says nothing. Now then, the priest says, turning back to the three of you, won't you walk with me for a moment, he invites. You look like a capable and adventurous sort, and I wonder if you'd be able to help our humble church with some issues we've had as of late. He starts to walk toward the gate as the guards push it open, and he gestures his hand toward the interior of the city. What would you like to do?
I'll look over to Loon and ask, are you okay?
That was... I've never experienced anything like that before. And the garb of the father is of the northern people, right? This is a northern church, the church of...
This is not
Wujan.
That is recognizable to anybody in
Interesting. And I'm just kind of... Loon is just like rattled almost, and is just can't take his eyes off this figure.
Liren's gonna kind of like gently nudge Tamari and Loon ahead, like let's
get into the
go,
game.
not question this. But he's also going to ask and be like, friend, did you have some bad rice wine? Perhaps I'm not sure what's. You seem to be quite perturbed.
My head is just pounding. It's throbbing.
Probably bad rice wine.
So I'll also like start heading into the gate, but just non-aggressively call out, say, Father, I'm sorry. I think our friend needs to rest. Our inn is just right here. We're going to stop by.
He turns back to you. I understand, my child, but when you are available, please come and see me at the Church of the One. It is not far from your inn. And he he's got like these giant sleeves, so he tucks his hands into his big sleeves and kind of begins to walk away from you and toward a large, somewhat imposing building just a few blocks away. In fact, I think I can mark it on your map somehow. Hold on. There's a way to do this. There.
Cool.
Oh, this should be on your map too. You know where the city guard is. And I think those, hopefully, should work similarly to the items. You should be able to click and then get an info. If I did it right.
So that's right. That's me in the. Sorry for spamming that. I was like, why is this not working?
I
clicked the info button about 40 times. Sorry. Interesting. Cool.
Oh, there's clearly some that I messed up. But we can fix that.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
I am gonna now. Chat can't see that, but I am gonna spam.
We just hear the
Oh my
like
gosh.
spam noise.
Just like, please, let's go to the tea house and get more rice wine. Oh dear.
Yeah. No, I think maybe a stop at the inn for a rest might not be a bad idea. It's been a long, even though it was only a day and a half, it was a long road journey, and my Loon's head is just throbbing. So a rest might be in order.
I don't think it would hurt at all to take that rest.
Are you going to see your friend again at the bar for you to insult one more time?
Buan and his. I'm too rattled even for that. Binaz, maybe.
We need the quality stuff.
Right.
Step aside for a second and get some water because my throat's a little dry. While I do so, if you have anything you want to prep before you rest, go ahead and think of that, and then we'll take care of your rest in a minute.
Cool.
Oh,
right as Prof A steps away, I just realized I think those arrows, those electrified arrows, are currently unclaimed.
Yeah, I left them for you specifically, but I didn't want to be like, "Hey, you should take these." Laren has a crossbow too, or don't you have a bow now?
Yeah, but Laren's bad at ranged
Yeah.
weapons.
I feel like
You're like, I wasn't
like
going to say it.
Yeah.
when they fly through the air, they're going to write the word loon out. They're like made.
Oh my
just
gosh.
for loon. So, Prof A, I claimed. I realized we hadn't done this, but I claimed the electrified arrows.
Okay, sweet. Those should
right.
be in D&D Beyond, so you can go ahead and add those
Cool,
to
sweet.
your character sheet.
And thank you
again,
all. Thank you.
As I mentioned, I do not know how to set up magic ammunition in D&D Beyond, so I just made an item with 5 charges. So there are 5 arrows. Your item has 5 charges.
Well, we are the popular kids over here. Everybody wants to talk to us, and I have no idea who these people are.
It's almost like you're starting to build up some kind of reputation.
Yeah.
All right. The night passes relatively uneventfully. Everybody wakes up refreshed, and you have the entire city, and the day stretches out ahead of you. Where would you like to go? Or what would you like to do?
So we have. Let's see if we can gather there's a kind of like a little like foyer or sitting area right outside kind of all our rooms, right? We're sitting and sort of collecting ourselves. So we could we have a number of things we could do, right? We could go find the tale teller again. We have the Maker's Apprentice, Mai Lin. And now we have this mysterious church asking for our assistance, right? Is there anyone else who wants anything from us?
I think that's enough.
Sorry, I put the wrong thing on your map. Sorry.
I was going to say, I don't know if that's the place that we want to go.
Yeah, it seems very...
That does not seem like a good place to go.
Okay, wait. Are you sure? Because look at how not imposing at all that symbol.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Not
Totally not.
Not
Oh,
Gothic
okay.
in any way.
I see the church. I see it.
Okay, there. Yeah.
I mean, Loon, I know you really want a weapon, but I feel Tamari is just, or I'm just background. Tamari is just like, can we just do it in the order that was presented to us? I need to know who this other girl is. Tamari kind of wants to, like, she's gonna try to push for the order in which we have encountered these people. So like, I don't know who this Hecate, she didn't even tell us her real name at the beginning. She has a daughter. I don't think you were on that phone call, Loon. She has a daughter, and there's she could help us with or just finish telling us what she wanted to do with us, because her and the Maker have some sort of history. But if you want to go get a weapon from Malin, then we can go ahead that way. But we have to be sure to meet, or y'all don't have to come, but I would like to meet the Huntress right before the evening starts.
Would you like company for that?
I would, if it's okay, if I know that you like to drink your wine in the evening, Loon, but if you would like to, skip that for tonight and come with me, just so, in case she tries to murder me.
I would feel better if you were not by yourself.
Fair enough.
Okay, that would be good.
I'm going to. Sorry. I'm gonna retcon just a touch, and in this exchange, it was somewhat lost, but you sense that the Huntress would prefer you arrive alone.
Okay, just kidding. I never said that last part to either of them. I just said the part about the Hecate and the weapon.
Yeah, Lyran's just gonna quietly worry about this happening.
Sorry.
I'm saying, you may have mentioned it when we rested. Did we sleep, and is it now morning, or is it still? Did we just take a nap, like a midday
No, it's
nap?
morning. Yeah,
It's morning. Okay, it's morning.
Full rest, and so as I said, the day stretches out in front of you. By the way, I had to mark the forge on the map because you know where that is, Loon. You're actually Hanjay. You're familiar with Malin's father, and actually you had visited. This is, I think you mentioned this very early in your backstory, but this was one of the shops you had frequented to check in. Although you have not seen Malin since she was a child, and you have zero idea about her connections to the Maker.
Well, perhaps we should return to the tale teller and let her finish telling her tale. Perhaps we should all go in together. That area of town was quite questionable, if I remember.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I think people keep stopping us, so it'd be good to be all together. And hey, we might find another disguise if we cut through the market on the way back.
That is my secret aim. His beard is rather unusable at this point.
I mean, it does pass quite near the forge.
Oh, okay. So I see. We have a list of destinations. Our day is planned.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
We have an itinerary.
So where to? Sorry, I was not clear.
The tale teller.
We're gonna eventually make our way up to the tale teller, but we're gonna go through the market and past the forge to the. Is that what we agreed on? think that's what I was
I was
hearing.
thinking the opposite direction.
Oh,
but
you want to go
I'm fine
telltale
either
first
or.
and then back down. Either way.
Yeah,
You
whatever.
draw,
whatever.
right? You can draw on the map.
Oh
I
yeah,
think,
that's right.
Oh, yeah.
if I
Yeah.
recall
Your
correctly.
hand.
You can...
Yeah, I kind of
Oh,
want
cool!
to
It's
get.
just
Wait,
on my screen. Yeah.
Oh, how do you clear
We're
it? Oh,
right
there we go.
here.
Okay. All right.
I would prefer
also
if
is
we
like-
went like this way. That's the way I
Right. Oh.
propose.
Wait, hold on. No, I can't delete mine. Hold on. Ah, there we
Okay.
go. All right.
So you're heading over. Anything at the market that you would like to purchase on the way? Any gear or items or anything else that you that is being sold here that you'd like to refresh? You can go ahead and we can assume that Liren's outfit disguise has been refreshed. You've got
Okay.
brand new
And even-
mustache.
And even
Jonas
even
is
better
here.
facial hair.
You got a new cane.
Very
You're all,
stylish,
you're all checked out.
in fashion. Yes.
But yeah, if there's anything else you'd like to look for at the market, you can on your way over.
Mm,
Loon, do we need
No,
some
I'm
healing potions?
I'm sort of side eye over to Liren a little bit. Yeah, probably.
Healing potions? We do not need those unless you feel
I'm just
that
saying, as a backup, I'm just, not that anything would happen to you, Lyra.
Liren hangs his head as a backup.
No. Okay, it's fine. We should just keep going. You look great, by the way. You look
Yes.
wonderful.
Yes.
Oh, he perks up again.
Very in fashion. Yes, very fashion. So I think towards the forge. We're passing towards the forge now.
Yeah, so the forge is it's a shop, so the stuff of it is indoors. You can see as you pass it, there's a sign outside that indicates that this is a shop and forge run by the legendary forge master Hanjie. But if you want to know what's in it, you got to go in it. Up to you.
I'd like to talk and I have something in mind. So I'm going to sort of very directly kind of just walk in.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll come too.
Yeah, we're all following in a
We
line.
stick together. Yeah, we have an itinerary and we stick together. This is correct.
Yes.
All right. As you enter, a small set of chimes suspended near the entrance of the building rings out. The first thing that hits you is the sweltering temperature within, followed by the bright flame emanating from a central forge on the other side of the room. You hear wood and metal clattering from a back room, which is separated by silk curtains suspended in a doorframe. All around you hang shirts of armor, martial weapons of Wujian origin, and hunks of metal and other raw materials. Be right out, a bright and cheerful voice calls from beyond the curtain. You continue to hear the shuffling feet and the clattering of metal trays and wooden boxes. Well, you're here. What would you like to do?
I have a question for the GM, which is the sentinel arm that I ripped off and now is part of my weaponry. If Liren were to pull that out and hit someone with it, does it look like you'd be like, oh my gosh, where did you get that? That's a crazy piece of machinery? Or would you just be like, that came from some kind of machine and people wouldn't question it, since it is a maker original?
Yeah, good question. Good question. So, to my understanding, the technology to build automata is a technology that is common in the North. Although, as you imagine, very few institutions would actually have access to the materials and equipment to put those things together. However, in terms of maker originality, something like Echo that has a personality and sort of a mind of its own is definitely not even in the imagination of anybody here. So in short,
Okay.
it would be clear that you took that from an automata,
Okay.
but people wouldn't freak out about it necessarily.
Okay, I just want to make sure I don't need like a body kit to also disguise my weapon because I'm just layering on disguises.
Put a bow tie on it. It's fine, everyone.
And you
Put a
mostly
different beard on
like-
top of your beard.
you're not carrying around the entire arm. It's just the weapony part of it, right? It's almost like you can like slip your hand into it, almost like it's a glove, and you're like
Okay.
holding it. Yeah.
Sweet, even better. Okay.
So I have purpose. I have purpose here. So Loon sort of loudly sort of states, I've come with work.
In a few moments, the silk curtains in the back part, and a young, muscular woman stands before you. She wears a blackened apron over bare shoulders, and her round, smiling face is marked with soot and burn marks. She looks each of you up and down, and she runs toward you, Loon. Kailoon, she calls out, using the honorific for an older male. I know the last time you saw me was before my confirmation, but look, she places her hands on her hips and turns around, flexing some really impressive back muscles. I chose female. She turns back around to you and lets out a bright,
And I step back and say, that can't be that young ankle biter who ran around this shop every time I visited.
She sort of puffs her chest out and points a thumb to it. That's me, Kailoon. I'm all grown up now. And then she looks around the room. Well, maybe not quite, she says. Looks like I'm the youngest one in the room, so I hope you don't mind me asking, she says, regarding Tamari and Liren particularly, but I don't like to assume. What genders were the two of you confirmed as?
I'm
I was
female as
confirmed.
well.
As a male.
Well, Kai Liren, Che Tamari, it is, she says, emphasizing the honorifics. Thanks for letting me know. Mei Lin's the name, and welcome to Hanje's Forge. I'm sure, Kailoon, you want to see my dad, but he's away on business, she says. But what brings you three to our humble forge? She says cheerily.
Well, I had something in mind, but I'd work. But now that I know that we can talk freely, in part we've come for you.
Me? She kind of cocks her head and looks a little curious. What business would you have with me? She asks.
And so I just sort of side eyes to the others and looking to see if they're okay with sort of letting her in, right? That we
Liren
know.
gives like a
Yes. Well, I hear you've taken up additional work. Not only are you making things here, but I hear you work with the maker now.
At the mention of the maker's name, she momentarily locks eyes with Loon and says, I'm not sure who you're talking about. And you notice a hint of desperation in her eyes as she looks away and walks toward the forge, picking up a small hammer and sickle along the way. She begins to work at the forge with her back toward you, but she says nothing.
Oh, Loon, I wonder if they have like a different, like a code name. Maybe we shouldn't be saying the maker. Because people here don't
perhaps.
seem to like him.
But his work might be his signature. He takes out an arrow, one of the electrified arrow, and places it on the forge next to her.
She continues for a few more seconds to work at the sickle with the hammer. And then she turns and her entire body freezes. She turns fully around, facing the three of you wide-eyed and says, You found him? You really found him? She runs over to the door, pulls on a very large iron bar, and kind of blocks the entrance of the door. Where is he? Is he safe? Is he okay? You can hear through the cheeriness of her voice a bit of a sense of panic.
I think he's neither safe nor okay, but he sent us to you. He sent us? Did he send us? Psst, psst.
Yes,
Someone
yes,
remind
yes,
me.
yeah. We
Yeah,
met him. We met him. He's alive. That's all I'll say.
She picks up the arrow and excitedly kind of begins to examine it. She's got goggles on her head, and so she pushes them down onto her nose, kind of looks closely, and she kind of snorts a bit, and she says, "Huh, these are pretty good," she says, "but you want to see what I can do with them?" she asks excitedly.
Ooh, yeah.
How
I
many
kind
of
of
these
pull
do
up
you
my
have?
goggles to be like, look at these. Can you make these look like more, in a particular way? Can you like adjust them?
Oh, she kind of runs up to you and kind of like uncomfortably leans in to your
Oh,
face because she's just trying to examine the goggles on your head. Can I hang on to those just for the night? She asks.
oh. What are you gonna do with them?
She turns back to you. What do you want me to do with them? I've got ideas, but I work a lot better under orders.
So, okay, does this look like something the maker would have made? Because I want it to look not like that. Like just a design, maybe like little kind of pointy, fashionable.
She smiles as you make the description. Oh, that's going to take me. And she thinks for a moment. Give me an hour, and I'll have these ready for you.
Oh, sure. I'll take them off.
She takes them. The arrows will take a little longer, and it might be better if you had more than one. Do you? She asks.
I do. I'll hand them. I hand them all. I have 5. I have 5 of them. So I'll hand them all to her.
She excitedly takes them, looks around, and runs to the back of the room through the silk curtains. You hear a clatter again of trays and boxes. And she comes out empty-handed, rushes back to the door, pulls the iron bar over, and kind of lowers her voice as she says to you, I really appreciate you bringing me the news, and thanks for giving me more stuff to play with. You might have to keep it moving because I don't think I should keep the shop closed for too long. Somebody might come around asking questions. You know the city guard's on high alert, right? She asks.
Yeah, they don't seem to like the maker, so that's why we're trying to not draw attention to it at all.
She replies, no one's really supposed to know. I know him, so if you could kinda, and then she kind of does this with her, between us, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
She again puts her hand on her hips. Great. What else can our humble business do for you?
Have you seen those? What do they call them? That the Northerners carry, the guns. Have you ever seen those? Do you work on those? I sort of scratch.
Tamari rolls her eyes again.
She thinks for a moment, then she sprints back past the curtains and comes back with a large firearm, large enough that it looks like you need 2 hands to carry this. You mean one of these? And she kind of shoves it toward.
Whoa, that doesn't look safe.
Liren takes a step back from this whole situation.
I like it, but smaller. You have anything smaller?
She thinks for a moment. I don't right now, but I'm sure in a few days guards will come in and they'll need their equipment repaired. You know, they carry those, right? You don't always see them, but when things get dicey, that's when those firearms start to come out. She winks at you. You know they're based on our technology, right?
Wait, what do you mean by that?
She explains to you that shapers in Three Cities have begun, Three Rivers rather, have begun to infuse weapons with shaping energy, weapons that could act like firearms, propelling projectiles, but they can only be fired, she explains, by shapers. They can only be wielded by shapers because the source of propulsion comes from shaping energy itself, not from any kind of chemical explosion.
I am
North,
suddenly
hand,
more interested.
they've taken these technologies and found ways to experiment and try to replace the shaper aspect of the technology with things like gunpowder.
Do you hear that, Loon?
I just continue to stroke longingly.
You're weak, she says to Loon. I'm sure I can scrounge one up.
All right. And how long did you say for the arrows? They're longer.
Those, I can have those done in a day, but her voice trails off for a moment. I guess it depends on how many other orders come in, she says.
I'm sorry. I don't know if I introduced myself. I'm Tamari. You're Maylin?
Maylin, sorry, maybe I should have asked. She apologizes.
Where's is your father also running the shop, or is it just you?
He's away. He's been away on business for the last 2 weeks or so. So right now it's just me and the forge. She thumbs back and you see the forge is burning fiercely in the corner.
Well, you look like you're really enjoying yourself. This is awesome.
What can I say? She says. I'm really good at what I do.
Well, if your work is like your father's, it will be great. I think we have one more thing to get to.
We'll
on our
stop back
itinerary.
on our way back.
Yes.
An hour. I'll be back in an hour. You'll still be open?
She picks up a large hammer and hefts it over her shoulder. I'm not going anywhere, she says.
Sounds good.
And if the door's locked, just knock. I don't sleep far from the curtains back here.
Any kind of special knock you would like us to do?
Her eyes widen with excitement. We should make one together. And she runs towards you and sort of waits expectantly for you to come up with a cool knocking pattern.
And Liren, it just buys into this immediately and says, all right, how about this? Does that work?
She repeats the pattern excitedly. No one is going to be able to guess this. And she kind of beams at you with really, really almost blindingly white teeth.
All right. If your shop is closed, we know how to find you.
She sort of looks past your shoulder and she sees that a line has begun to form outside the forge. Oh, sorry. I should probably get to these, she says. And she gently pushes past you and begins to wave customers into the shop.
Great.
I suggest we take a bit of a wide path around the fighting pits that are in the north. I think that not only are Liren, are you being hunted by the city guard, but I think by the pit fighters themselves would love to have you as well.
Perhaps that is a wise choice.
All right. You take a wide berth around the fighting pits. You do make a mental note of where they are in the city, but you avoid them. You hear raucous laughter, the sound of fist hitting flesh, and cheers. But other than that, you are not noticed as you head back to the house of the Tale Teller. Once inside, you are greeted by Hecate once again. And as you enter her house in the Ma Gao slum, once again, it feels as though the sounds of the city fade away, almost as if you're in another place altogether. Inside, Hecate sits among simple furniture, and she sees the three of you have entered into the room. Thank you, she says, for... Oh, sorry. Give me... Whoop, I got a super quick phone call. Be right back. give me a hot sec to get this.
Your looking glass is lighting up with dark energies. Your your auto warranty is about to expire.
What is this dark force?
They've reached through time and the multiverse to get to you. Yes.
Did Hecate, I almost said Tecate.
Yes.
Did she
Moon's
ever,
ears
did we
perk up.
ever ask if she was the tale teller? Because that was my first question. Did we
Yeah.
establish it? Because I want to like,
what
I'm
I-
like, Tamari's like annoyed.
Oh,
Hey,
Lauren was pretty
so-
sure that she was, but we never explicitly asked.
Yeah,
Asked, yeah.
that's what I gathered, but maybe not.
Okay.
Extremely sorry, but I have a minor emergency I need to run
Yes.
off to, and I will need to jump off stream right now.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, sure thing.
Do what
Sorry,
you do.
y'all. I apologize.
We'll wrap up. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to excuse myself.
And take care.
Yeah, I'll catch y'all in a bit.
All right.
Well, I hope everything's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I listening in from at least from the VOD and stuff like that. That's what I gathered. That I almost said Tecate too.
Well, then
Hecate
nobody
was
is
the tale teller,
introducing
right.
themselves to.
I know all
Yeah.
these names.
So
God,
it's
look at all
all
these
like.
names I have to write down.
That's why I asked, like, oh, your main link,
Yeah.
just to clarify, because even
Sure.
you were like, wait, is this the person? Like, I don't know.
in our private
Be
chat.
impersonating
Yeah.
other people.
Yeah,
Who
totally.
knows?
That's what I gathered. But like, because when the calling orb or the crystal orb or whatever they were talking, we recognized the tale teller, and then she was referred to as Hecate after that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But then, like, they said something weird. What was it? Like, there was something.
Don't
like,
tell them.
Don't
And then-
tell
like,
them.
we didn't hear the
Right.
full sentence. We only heard part of it.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, there was some reason we thought she was sus, though, or
Yeah.
the maker was sus.
Yeah, that and was being evasive or something, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
But this little girl seems cute. She's like all excited.
she's like-
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
She's adorbs. Very precocious. We must protect.
Yeah.
Echo was my favorite, and now Maylin is my favorite, and the tale teller Hecate not my favorite. So
Yes,
Not
let's just do our character rankings.
yeah, right, yeah,
the
character
whole
ranking.
wrap-up stream.
We'll put it in a slideshow so that you have more page views.
Be like, Cafe, we made this while you were gone. Here's our official rankings. They may change
So-
from week to week.
Can we? I mean, while we have a few minutes, can we do a little bit of like a debrief? Because I do have a few questions, a few gameplay kinds of questions. But if there was anything else you all want to talk about, like about the game itself.
No, this will be good for whenever Profe catches the VOD too.
Yeah, totally.
Players only chat.
Yeah. So
Ask us anything, chat.
that's right. Yeah, Ame. So like when we were at the inn here, when we decided on our itinerary and we like stuck together, I was going to make a suggestion. I wondered how this might affect gameplay to actually separate, to break out. So like, have you ever done that? And how if so, how has that worked? Like to do things where you're not necessarily all in a group together, because there are some times where maybe that would be interesting or make narrative sense too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like-
I feel like usually you would just switch between different scenes. So it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then if you really need to be asymmetric, I played in a game recently where we made different like Discord breakout rooms, but that was like really we were trying to keep information like from players. But
Would it be something that like where we drop off the call or something like that so that we wouldn't hear or something? Is that or just we know?
that's more like, I think that's more like if you're really trying to keep a secret. I think typically it's just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So yeah, I think there's a lot of times that would make sense, but then there's that whole like never split the party thing because that's how
Right.
player characters die.
Right. Yeah. You get
Yeah,
jumped.
there's not really enough of us because there's only 3 of us. Otherwise, it'd be like, at least 2
makes sense,
together. You know.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of did last week, right? Where Loon stayed back. And
we trusted the maker a lot with that one,
which is that I was a little upset because that was the most Loon fight of all. Like they were all way off. I could just stay in the back and just bomb them with arrows. Mm-hmm. All these other fights we've had, I've been like right up in their grill, which is not where I am meant to be. So I wanted to be in that fight, which I think was probably on purpose on Prof A's part, but then rewarded us with cool trinkets. So
yeah, well, you can
those
also
electrified
do
arrows
stuff
are pretty cool.
With like Loon, if you wanted to sneak out and like Tamari is probably gonna do and not tell any of y'all, but like go to the tea house or that's where you're sneaking your wine is you're actually getting your stash from your dealer.
Oh my gosh. Oh, all right. I've got ideas now, narrative ideas. I think you all can guess them, but now I have narrative ideas.
Yeah, maybe we all need to go on a secret journey.
And then we'll all run into each other.
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here? All right.
I can see Laren pretending like, oh, I don't know you people. It's like, Laren, you're the only person that looks like you.
The 7-foot tall dragon with the glorious beard.
That is the other one that looks like
me. You've got yet another beard on top of all your other beards.
Another beard on top of the beard, and the like automata gun her arm has like a beard on it too. It's like a hand puppet.
Oh my god!
Who are you?
All right, if I can't make art, but we need to have someone make some art. Help us, please. If someone can make automata with a beard, that would be great. Yeah, no, I again just kind of wondering how that flows, almost like watching a movie or something like that where you're in one scene and then you're in the other, but that idea of like separating, because what got me kind of ultimately thinking about that was the like when Prof A prompts us with those kinds of questions and things, like what's your flaw, and like articulating it, and then all of us also hear that like kind of flavors, how, like, because now I kind of know what Tamari's thinking, so I wonder like how much of that you kind of keep separate to then come to as players, and how that affects you. Again, having never done this before, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think it just depends on kind of what feel you want for the game. Like, I think there would be a value in having that information be hidden, but then there's also stuff like, like the rotating GM's game that I told you all about, where it's like, there's 4 players, but like each of us takes a turn. So it would be like the person that like finishes up. So it would be like we each do like 2 sessions, finishes up the 2 sessions, then tells the next person like, hey, here's everything I was thinking, right? And then then when it comes back around, which it did, because each person, so we did like 8 sessions total. Then it was like, I had no idea what was going on when it was like, really far away from, it was like telephone or something, which was not even, we weren't even thinking it'd be like that, but that didn't like take away from the experience, because we all like were thinking like especially me and one of the other GMs, we were really cared about like each character having an arc. So we just like shared completely like everything, which, didn't take anything away from it, because there were still plenty of surprises.
Yeah. That's cool. That's again, like I love hearing what you guys come up with too, because it's really interesting and it helps motivate, my own thinking and change it and stuff. And it's, you say things I would never expect or whatever. And that's cool. But again, just that, like how much of that is like hidden from players to come to, it's kind of cool too.
Yeah, I like knowing that stuff personally. Like, I feel like that, like, like now knowing that about Tamari, like, that she holds grudges, right? It's like, oh, that like explains a lot. It makes sense. And like, I think the other thing is like, there's a lot of things that implicitly about your character that are hard to make explicit through role playing, right? And especially in a short number of sessions, that like just stating some of that stuff explicitly is like a faster way of getting to that than like having to like play it out, which would probably take a really long campaign to like really sort of enact what you think this character is and thinks.
That's cool.
Yeah, because so if you think about it, like in real time, we've known each other for months, right? Or we've been traveling together for months, but like game time, or maybe a month, I don't know how long, but we've been together longer than we have been doing like these however many 7 sessions. So there's like things that you would notice just spending that much time with other people that is hard
Right.
to develop in a 2-hour session every week sort of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I agree
No, it
with
makes sense.
that.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Interesting. There was another question, and now I can't remember what it was. I was going to ask more of a mechanical question, but now I can't remember. It'll have to be for Discord or something like that. Well, should we?
Yeah.
Y'all want to wrap?
Yeah, let's do it.
right.
So I'll move it around. But we come back to you last, Jay. So I'll
Sure.
just go first. I'm Sweater Wolf. Catch me streaming over on my channel. I'll be streaming tomorrow at 4 p.m. Getting back into Scarlet Nexus, which is just an insane experience, and I still have no idea what's going on in a good way. I almost called you Tamari Wizard. Where can we find you next?
I'm live tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific time. I am starting Portal 2, like the single player experience. So I'm very excited for that.
Oh my gosh!
I-
so you're
okay,
gonna stream
so-
it? You're gonna stream it?
I'm gonna stream it,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know when exactly. I would like to play the full thing through eventually, like on stream, but I don't know exactly what days. But I'm starting it tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific, and then Saturday is gonna be an early stream for me, 10 a.m. Because it's Pokemon Go Fest weekend, so I'm gonna be playing Pokemon Go on Saturday. And Sunday I started doing. I have a podcast with Jeff. It's basically just not this Jeff, my Jeff, but it's a reread of Harry Potter. And so we started to live stream that on Sundays at 11 a.m. Pacific time. That's me all
Awesome.
weekend.
Cool.
And Jay.
Portal 2. I will.
Yeah.
I will watch those.
Well, I read.
because it's such a good game.
I looked stuff up. There's no cake. There's no cake. Okay. Well, I was told something about a potato. I wasn't quite sure. So I'll just experience it.
Yeah, just experience it. I don't know. I don't get fanatical about spoilers, but I kind of do, I guess. For things that I am truly love, and whatever. And Portal 2 is such a great game that if you can, the fewer sort of plots, because it has much more of a story. I'll say that, and has just such amazing puzzles. There's that sort of game that people play. Like if you could, erase a game from your memory and play it again for the first time, those portals would be really, really tempting to be that. That's my game. So enjoy.
Yeah.
I hope you're gonna have fun. Oh, so good. So for us, we'll be back next week at our regular proffing time.
I won't be here. So you'll have to go on without me.
Oh
All right.
no!
I think
That's
you
right.
Tale teller.
I know.
you tripped on the beard. So many beards laid on top of each other that they tripped yourself up, and you're laid up. In
Yeah.
the
He has an
for a
And
injury.
then
session.
Laren tried to do a medicine check on himself, and whoops.
Well, I think he knows how to Dragonborn.
I think
that anatomy very well.
Delicate non-dragon flesh.
It's the Star Trek problem. How do you operate on a Klingon, right? When you're a human doctor. By the way, one thing I haven't done much recently, but a good one this week, the Epic Games, the free Epic Games. There's a game called Off-World Trading Company, which is kind of interesting. It's a little bit of a capitalist nightmare, but if you don't care
Taylor
about
actually wrote about that. Our one of our grad school friends wrote about that in his dissertation. I went to his defense this week.
Yes.
He's not watching, but congrats, Dr. Kessner. But he was talking about that in his dissertation defense, and I was like, oh, that's that game. And he was talking about like the capitalist nightmare aspects of it.
Yeah, if you can get past that, if you can buy into that world, it's actually not bad. I've played a fair amount, 20 or 30 hours of it, and so it's a decent strategy game. Don't be, or maybe do be insulted by the fiction of the game and what you're actually
Is it
asked
like
to do.
satirical?
No.
Oh,
It's
really?
it's very
Okay.
serious. Yeah, no, you sort of exploit yet another planet and try to maximize your profits and stuff like that. But
okay.
Right. But the mechanics of it they're decent. I mean, it's a decent setup and system.
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So you can get past that, which clearly I can. So get it for free. See, that's what you do. You get the free corporate. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. So, well, thank you all for tuning in once again, and we will hopefully see you on our next streams individually and together again.
All right.
Talk to you later. Oh, I can
Bye.
end it this time.
Yeah.
I'll end it. Here we go.